anywhere else but Smart Electronics.
Okay, son, get dressed. We are going down to Smart Electronics.
No need to go to St. Martin anymore. We have everything available right here in St. Kitts. And remember, we have only one store in St. Kitts, and we are located at Port Zante, opposite the food court. Smart Electronics, way to live a smart life.
Summer is ending, but the deals are just beginning with the Quartz end of summer sale. Get up to 50% off your favorite items to include patio furnishings, pools, coolers, TVs, mattresses, and more. Plus, shop today with a ready finance and pay nothing for 60 days. Take advantage of these sizzling summer deals for a limited time only. Shop in store and online at shopcourts.com. Conditions apply. Quartz, bringing value home.
Stop standing in long ATM lines to withdraw cash. Use your national debit or black cards to complete a wide variety of transactions at supermarkets, variety stores, gas stations, pharmacies, and more. Shop online at the most popular websites and stores for quality brands using your national debit or black cards. And take back your time to enjoy all the things that you love to do. Remember, instead of waiting in long ATM lines to withdraw cash, use your national bank cards today.
National Bank, always here.
Gimme, 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 gimme! Hey! This tradition should be carried on by the younger generation. Nice. It's like the village disappeared. Don't let the village
All right, so it's now time for us to get into our conversation this morning. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back with our fire discussion.
It's the end of Summer Madness sale, and it's only at Courts Optical. For a limited time only, buy one pair of glasses and get the second pair free. Plus, if you come in before September 17th, you will get an extra 30% discount or special offer when you trash your old pair of frames in the optical price bin. No cash, no problem. Shop with Ready Finance and pay $0 for 60 days. Plus, walk away with a free pair of sunglasses. Make an appointment online today at courtsoptical.com and ask us about our free blue block and free eye exams. Beat the summer blues and save on your new eyewear with our end of summer madness sale. Terms and conditions apply. Optical, value you can see.
This message brought to you by ZIZ and the Fire Department of St. Kitts and Nevis.
I am Woman Fire Officer Louise Clark from the St. Kitts Nevis Fire and Rescue Services with your safety tip for today. Keep items that can catch on fire at least 3 feet away from anything that gets hot, such as space heaters. Smoking materials can cause residential fire death. If you smoke, take precautions. Smoke outside, choose fire-safe cigarettes, never smoke in bed, when drowsy or medicated, or if anyone in the home is using oxygen.
This message was brought to you by ZIZ and the St. Kitts Nevis Fire Department.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back. I'm your moderator for this morning, as usual. And in the studio with me, we have Mr. Williams, Rommel Williams. Good morning to you, sir.
Yes, good morning, GQ. Good morning, Al.
And, oh my goodness, the name. Colin. Remember the brown part? I remember Colin.
The brown so strong.
Boy, I don't know why I forget the brown. Colin ain't a stranger here to the studio. Colin has been here on more than one occasion during Skellig Power Talk. If you're a fan of that program, you've probably heard his voice and probably seen him as well because we stream our shows. So, Colin, welcome to our studio, man.
Thank you, GQ.
Bless you, love. Bless you, love. Now, this morning, we're going to be looking at the work relations between the fire department and Skellig. So I'm going to let you lead the conversation, and then I'll chime in after there.
Yes. Yes, good morning again, and certainly happy to be back on the show after a very short vacation. And so this morning, we are extremely happy that Skellig would have accepted our invitation to come on the show just to share a bit, about, of course, the relationship between Skellig and Fire Department and how fires affect Skellig, and basically for them to share with us, some tips how to operate during a hurricane. We're still in hurricane seasons. So just some tips that they would like to share with us as it relates to, appliances and what's not. So with us, we have Mr. Colin Brown from Skellig, and he would be with us for just for the next couple of minutes, and we'll just have a little conversation. Hopefully the information, as usual, that he shared would be beneficial to you guys. So basically, we like to start off first. I will allow Mr. Colin. Well, you said that he's not a new person to the show, so everybody knows Colin.
Yes.
Everybody knows Colin. But for anybody who, the persons who are listening, the Fire Talk might not know Colin. So I would allow Colin to basically introduce himself, and then we go from there.
Okay. Good morning again, viewers. On behalf of Skellig, I want to thank the fire service for the invitation, and on behalf of Ms. Harris, our corporate communications officer, our GM. I know we've been trying to collaborate like this for some time.
Yes.
Well, finally, the time is here. So I am Colin Brown, the Control, Operation and Protection Manager at Skellig. And one of our roles, most pertinent to our program, the Control and Operations section is the primary section for responding to emergencies and hazards. So both those emergencies that are electricity service related, so you don't have any electricity in your house. We are the team who first responds, but also emergencies affecting other services, other units, other organizations where electricity comes into play. So that is, to a greater or lesser extent, what we're going to be discussing this morning. General electrical safety, but also how responding to other hazards we have to coordinate, working closely. So there you have it. Thank you again for the interview. Thank you for having me again, GQ.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. So what we'd like to basically share with the public is the working relationship between Skelec and Fire Department. We have had a long-standing working relationship even before Skelec, when it was just Electricity Department. And but now Skelec is on scene. Fire Department and Skelec, but I would allow Mr. Brown to speak from the Skelec standpoint as to what the relationship has been like between Skelec and Fire Department.
So Ramal is correct. Even before Skelec was Skelec and we had Sked, the working relationship was very close. And I want to say I think it has gotten closer. I don't know if in the past Skelec would have ever joined you on this program. But no.
This is
so,
the first.
This is the first. So
Yes.
therefore,
Yes.
it is getting closer.
Proof is in the pudding, right?
Proof is in the pudding. So let's speak to the working relationship. And our working relationship primarily revolves around managing hazards. So in the fire services case, the hazard of fire, which is sometimes caused by electricity. And in the electricity case is the hazard of electrocution/fire, because electricity can cause fire. And most directly in the case of the fire service, sometimes when they're responding to fires, they have to be mindful of the risk of electricity.
Right.
So our first basic coordination, when fire service is responding to a fire or some other hazard, and they realize that electricity is one of the hazards involved, they call electricity. I guess they said those are the electricity guys. And vice versa, when we're responding to an electrical fault and fire is involved, whether in the obvious case, a home or some other area is on fire, fire service wants to respond, but they want to make sure they're safe from the risk of electrocution. But also sometimes when the fire is putting the electricity service at risk, we are putting our guys at risk from responding to an electrical fault. Then we'll call the fire service. A typical example, we have no electricity. We respond when we go. The pole that with the fault is on fire. Possibly caused by the electricity fault, possibly caused by myriad of other things, from vandalism to lightning strikes and such. So
the scenarios are endless.
They're quite a few. They're quite a few, and they can be interesting. So that first response coordination, fire service has a direct line to Skelec. Skelec has a direct line to fire services. Our operators know for certain type of faults, and when certain hazards are known to be there, when you're dispatching our guys, call the fire service, let them meet on the job site, and vice versa. And especially in the cases where life is at risk. Property risk is also important, and we do understand that safety of property and protecting property is also one of our goals, but specifically, especially when life is at risk, the calls from fire service take priority. Whoever is nearby, maybe everybody, is going to have to respond in making that effort. And to the degree possible, the fire service returns the favor. So there are many other scenarios, because we haven't started talking about hurricanes and national emergencies where we coordinate.
So let me ask you this, Khan. Do you have a team? Well, I can't say on standby, but do you have a group of guys that, you know, if the fire department call, or you need to work along the fire department, do you have a group of guys who have that mindset ready to be in that when that call is made?
Yes. So substantially, the entire group that I supervise, I work along with, is operations, control and operation. So in the name there's a sort of control, operation and protection.
Right.
So in the name there's that rapid response, proactiveness, the mindset you speak of. So to be specific, our operations are 24 hours.
Right.
So there's a team in a control center, system control center. On a shift basis, there's always someone there to answer the calls and to dispatch a team.
Right.
There's also always a team on standby to dispatch. So, and everyone understands, okay, fire service calls at 2:30 in the morning. There's a home fire in Newtown. The call comes in and a series of responses are made. Everything from, in the first instance, a team showing up on the spot, making contact with whoever from the fire service is in charge, making an assessment. And the responses can escalate from disconnecting the wire to the person's house to turning off the electricity on half of Bastia, if necessary, and that can happen as quick as the information gets back. If the call is take off the whole of Bastia feeder comes off because the protection of life is priority.
Right, and you have to minimize. You have to get it down as minimum as possible.
Exactly.
I understand.
Yep.
Let me ask you this, though. Not all the time I've seen it. I've seen it more than, well, on one occasion here and there. Let's say a blue moon, if I could use that term, where the fire department will be heading to a bushfire, but I see guys from Skellig heading there as well. Why? It's a bushfire.
As a matter of fact, that, as he mentioned, he just mentioned about the response to the house fires. And as he rightly mentioned, we haven't even started, we haven't even scratched the surface yet as it relates to their response with fire department. And when you see Skellig along with fire department, it's because Skellig has poles that might be very close to the vegetation that is on fire. And a lot of times the poles are damaged by fires, right? And so they have to respond again, because if the pole comes down, you have an issue. And a lot of times when you have bush fires, you will see a Skellig unit patrolling the area as well, because they're looking out for the poles.
Okay.
And I have, in more than one cases, I have seen they would contact us and say, hey, there's a pole in this area with the fire really close. And it helps us, because once we catch that pole, it reduces. Skellig don't have to go plant another pole. The power don't have to go out. And there is that the risk is reduced from electrocution, and what's not is reduced. So they are aware, so it's not like they're always waiting for us to call. If there's a bushfire in a certain area, sometimes we show up and Skellig is already there patrolling. I could remember an incident right over on the Kim Collins Highway in the area of the park area, and another time over Cairn, Skellig was thrown to the fields, monitoring the poles, making sure that the poles are safe, which leads me to encourage people again to stop deliberately lighting fires, because it does not only affect the health, it affects livelihood, because if it burns 3 poles and those poles come down, they're pulling down other poles with them, and then current has to be out for a whole day or maybe a day and a half, and then it affects businesses who do not have a backup supply. They have to close down. They might have things refrigerated that is run down, and so we have to take all of these things into consideration. And what I also want to add is that when we call Skellig responds. Sometimes we do, because we're so busy in the operation, we don't even Skellig. We just look back, Skellig man up on the pole.
Wow.
We don't even see when they show up.
Wow.
So the response is really good. And as he mentioned, we also have a relationship that was developed through training, because we do training with Skellig as well. Fire prevention, they would send requests for us to come in and train their guys. Whenever they have new staff, they send for us again to train their guys. So they also make sure that their guys are trained in fire prevention as well. So at least they know the basics.
Right.
Especially those who might be working in the generation side, the power generation, because that is a lot of machinery, a lot of voltage is passing through there. You need to know how to stop a
Lot
fire.
of fluids.
Right.
Diesel
And you
and
need
oil.
to know how to stop a fire and stop it fast, because in those
Wow,
places,
wow.
fires spread like
But we can even
wildfire.
speak last year when we had an electrical fire at the plant that went viral.
Yes, yes.
That's a prime example, and fortunately, when Skelec, when the company needs the fire service to respond to a fire at the company, the response is top notch, quite responsive, quite proactive, and while we don't want to have those instances to demonstrate,
Yes.
to demonstrate that everybody is on their game.
Right, efficiency,
Fire
right?
prevention first before fire.
Right.
Fire response always. But it went viral, and part of the reason we were able to get the power back on so quickly, people are predicting a week and what have you,
Yes.
is that the quicker the fire was put out, the less damage was done. Quicker you can assess.
Yes.
Quicker you can repair.
Yes.
Even the environmental of going into a place after there's been a fire. The longer the fire has been there, and the more different type of materials that have burnt, the more hazardous it is
Yes.
to go back in there after and work,
Right.
and all of that comes into play. So
Right.
as Ramel said, we haven't even scratched the surface. We have not even scratched the surface.
Well, gentlemen, as I understand from Timothy, he told me that you have agreed to do a part 2 or a part 3 if necessary. But I want to thank you guys for at least starting the conversation this morning. Unfortunately, though, I'll have to wrap it up here because we're getting ready for our coverage of the CPL semi-finals. Just to let people know, you have Trinbago Knight Riders versus St. Lucia Kings. That game will be starting in just a bit. And then this afternoon at 2:30, we have Guyana Amazon Warriors taking on our very own St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots. So, gentlemen, in wrapping up, anything you want to highlight or call it a day before we go too far? Because judging from the conversation so far, you guys have a lot to talk about.
Indeed. Well, I don't know. If Colin could just maybe give 1 or 2 tips in relation to applying electrical appliances and electricity and hurricane, basically in hurricane season. So maybe just 2 quick tips.
After all the tips we've given, but let us shoot for 2 of the fundamentals before interacting with anything in a home situation. Before doing anything with electricity, when I say that, changing a bulb, these type of things, turn off the light switch before you change the bulb. If you're an amateur electrician, turn off the breakers. From the Skelec end, when there is a fluctuating voltage in your house, or at any time your electrical service is not performing properly, turn off your main switch.
Okay.
It'll protect you from a fire hazard and safety aspect, and it'll also protect your appliances.
Yes.
And then a third tip, you smell something funny, you see something funny, something burning, and you don't have on your stove, report it to fire service. I'll allow Ramel to give the contact number. Is it 911 or 411?
No, 465-2515.
Okay.
You call 911, we go to police, and police would send the call over to us.
Oh, that is another area of coordination. If you dial 911, according to what you report, they dispatch it to the services, including
Skelec as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you smell something burning and you suspect it's electrical, it smells electrical, report it to the fire service and report it to Skelec.
Okay.
Skelec's fault reporting number 465-2013. And in closing, thank you again to ZIZ. Thank you to the fire service. Closer collaboration between our services and our ministries, the Ministry of Public Infrastructure et al. And the Ministry of National Security et al.
Yes.
Thank you again.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Thank you, Colin. Ramel, that's
Yes,
it for you?
just to say thank you to Skelec for again accepting our invitation, and to Colin for coming and sharing with us basically relationship between and he actually did a better job than I would have done. So they chose the right person to send.
Okay.
So again, thank you, Skellig, and to the listening public, as usual, stay safe, stay COVID safe, stay fire safe until we meet next week.
Nice one. And I promise you guys, next week we're going to open the lines for you to get in to ask your questions. Because we normally do, Colin? We normally do. So, but unfortunately, though, because of time constraint and CPL.
And the Patriots in it.
And the Patriots in it. I like that. I like that, Colin. Thank you, my brother. Here's let us join the commentary team, I should say. They're already in the rapport, so to speak. And remember, this morning coverage is coming to your Development Bank, Skellig, your power company,